What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to Sunday night's unscheduled show, really. I was supposed to be having the day off, but I'm feeling pretty good, so I thought I'd jump on and have a chat. So yes, why are we feeling? I mean, it's another mad day in the Premier League. I don't know how Manchester City managed to throw that game away, but they found a way. They found a way. 1 win in 11 now for Manchester City, by the way. And yet, there are still people who won't write them off in a title race. I very much have. Arsenal as well, they're donezoed. Because if we win our game in hand, that's 9. They're not making up 9 over us. So, the title of tonight's stream is Two-Horse Title Race, because honestly, I'm not trying to bait anyone. I'm not trying to wind you up. That's what I think this is now. Nobody else has shown anywhere near enough. And look, we're having a wobble, and we are. 2 draws in a row in the league, let's be fair. And yet we're still top. It just goes to show you that it is there to be seized this season. And that's why I'm so adamant that we need to make sure that we attack this January transfer window and make the most out of the situation that's presented itself to us. So yeah, loads to get through. We're going to be talking about the Premier League tonight. We're going to be talking about the contract situation, of course. We're going to be talking a little bit about Liverpool's activity in the January market. A little bit on Michael Owen, who was talking again about Trent. We're going to run through what Liverpool have done in previous seasons at this point, how many points have we put up. And we're going to try and give some more praise to Mohamed Salah as well, because he's now reached 100 assists for Liverpool Football Club. So yes, loads. Craig, who do you think will really win the league? Liverpool. I mean, I don't say these things for effect, mate. I genuinely think we're winning the league. But I'm not saying we haven't won yet. There's a long way to go. All I feel comfortable in saying now is you can scratch off Man City, you can scratch off Arsenal, and I think the only team that dare bring this back towards us is Chelsea. So there we go. Sorry, loads to get through here. I'm just checking in on stuff. So, yeah, he's getting banned. It's not 2-2. Edison's banned. It's 2-1 to Chelsea, and they're in extra time, stoppage time. And look, I expect Chelsea to see it out. So, even at that, look, I still think, even if they did drop points today, I still think they are better placed than Arsenal. Look, I know people are talking about us not winning the league yet, and that's very much true, and that is not what I'm trying to say. But look, I think if we're being honest about this, how can you include City and Arsenal at this point? They've shown nothing to suggest that they're going to be able to stay the course. They haven't. So, they're in my eyes anyway, they're 2 more names scratched off the Premier League title race list, and in my mind, it's a 2-horse race at this moment in time. I don't know if either one of the 2 teams, Liverpool and Chelsea, will fall off a bit. I really am unsure. But I think it will come down to us. I think, look, we know it's in our hands. And if we can continue to push forward, and look, we're going to have a difficult game this week, and we need some type of a response from 2 draws. But if we go Spurs and win, I'm going to feel even more confident then that it's done. So, yeah, I'm pretty confident right now. And I think I've every right to be. And I think you guys have every right to be. So, rather than saying we're going to win it, let's just get to the point where we can start ruling people out. And that's where I'm going to go with tonight's first poll. 1 second. Let me just get a poll up so we can get started on this. How do I pose this question? Okay. Bear with me, folks. One sec. Okay, and one more option. Okay, coolio. And last one. Okay, cool. So, I've put in a question. I said, who is out of the title race? And I've given you 4 options in it. 1 sec, as soon as I click the right button here. There we go. Right. So who is out of the race? There's 4 options. There's both Arsenal and City. There's only City. There's only Arsenal. Or there's neither. So if you don't think they're all out of the race whatsoever, let us know. Look, think about it this way. If we won our game in hand, we're 9 points clear of Arsenal. And we're getting towards the halfway point of the season. I've not seen anything, in my opinion, to suggest that Arsenal are going to be able to put together a run, coupled with our downfall, that would mean they would have to pretty much win, in my opinion, most of the remaining games. Like, 9 points is a lot to turn around. And that's, so that's us losing 3 and then being perfect. I don't think that happens over the course of the season. I don't. That's why, for me, I think it's only Chelsea at this point that I'm focusing on. I get the people. I think people are judging City and Arsenal maybe in seasons past, not on what they're seeing in front of them now. Right, Danny, let me get your comment up, bro. I have a couple of super chats and stuff to get through. So, Danny, thank you for your continued membership, bro. Said, evening all. Hope everyone is well. Come on the pool. Well, we're going to have to put our own socks up a little bit as well, Danny, because we've 2 league draws in a row. We need to put that right. Zoom, appreciate that, bro. Really kind of you. Said, nothing to say. Just wanted to send this. Well, thank you, mate. It's very much appreciated. Harry Klein. So, do you think we will use Bajčetić's return as an excuse not to make a midfield signing, even though we need one in January and the summer? I hope not. I would never rule out anything with our owners, but, I don't think Bajčetić has exactly been setting the world alight on loan at Salzburg, although it was more about getting minutes in his legs. I don't know what the future holds there for him at Liverpool, but I certainly wouldn't be comfortable if we were withholding bringing in another holding midfielder because of Bajčetić. Because I still don't know whether Bajčetić is going to be a 6, an 8, somewhere in the middle. And he needs a bit more experience from me. Like, it's a long drop-off if you're putting Ryan Gravenberch, giving him a breather, and you're putting a Bajčetić in, let's say. That's a big, big risk. So no, I would say not yet. We need a centre-back in January. I mean, I think that's 3rd on the priority list, if I'm being honest with you, Hemi. Based off what I've been seeing, left back is certainly a topic that Liverpool fans are talking about a bit. We're going to run through some media talk as well, which have linked us once again to 2 main targets, them being Nuri and Kirkes. So Chelsea win 2-1, just to confirm that one. So Chelsea are now within 2 points of us, plus of course our game in hand. So they are certainly keeping it interesting. And look, I want it to be somewhat interesting. The year we won the title, as great as it was, and my God, it was great. You've got to say it was a canter. There was the season was done and dusted by February. So, keep it a little bit interesting, make that fun. Do you know what? I'm going to say this to everybody again. Don't be afraid to be confident. Don't be afraid to be confident. I know everybody's set up and worried about what ifs and all, but don't be. Nothing wrong with a bit of confidence, especially when it's deserved. And we didn't accidentally find ourselves top of the league. Will said, Liverpool are favourites, but please FSG, back the manager if you want success. They have to. They have to back the manager. Like, again, let's look at the summer, and we talked about this many times. We didn't do enough business in the summer, but if you want to be fair about it and try to add a bit of balance to the conversation, Will, and which I try to do when I talk about the owners, believe it or not, I can understand that everybody needed to kind of get their feet under the table, settle into the roles, assess the squad a little bit more, and I think we've had more than enough time to do that now. So any excuses in the summer are surely out the window now, because we know what we need, we know where we're at, we know what the manager's doing. So yeah, I agree. We have to spend. We need to be better and we can walk the league, said Liz. I love that. Sail the league though, Liz. Let's go with sail aboard HMS Piss the League. And I agree, Liz. I agree. If we show a bit more consistency, we could start to build a bigger gap quicker. So yeah, look, it's great. It's great. Let's enjoy it. Because at the start of this season, I didn't think coming into the festive period that I'd be sitting here talking about us having drawn 2 league games in a row, but still feeling abundantly confident that we've put ourselves in a great position to push on. Confidence isn't the problem, but overconfidence is. So, I'm talking about fans here, mate. I'm not talking about the players being confident or the manager being confident. I'm talking about us as fans. Don't be afraid to be confident. Because if anybody else was in our position, Arsenal, City, whoever, they'd be confident. They'd be feeling like they're on the way. Why shouldn't we have the same pride in what we've achieved so far? And we haven't achieved everything we want yet. But come on now. Enjoy it. Right, a couple of things to go through. I will be talking about Samuel Ricci, by the way. I seen somebody mention that in the chat a moment ago. There's been some more links to him, so we will talk about that in a little bit. Right, Heavy Metal D, thank you, sir, for your super chat. Very kind of you. Said, evening all, hope you're feeling better. I am. I'm feeling a lot better today, mate. I'm at the very, very end of this cold, but thank you. What a day of football. Man City lost. Wolves manager sacked, but he's the next manager for Wolves. Huh? Man City lost. Wolves manager sacked, but he is the next manager for Wolves. Or who is? Is that what you're trying to say? Did Gary O'Neill get the sack? I like Gary O'Neill, so I feel a bit sorry from there. But Russell Martin, that's a shit show at Southampton. My God. How can you go 5-0 down at home in a league game at half time? That's shocking. Ye10 said, as good as Chelsea have been, I don't think they'll last the court, so it's Liverpool's to lose. Do you know what? When I've spoken to a few journalists and some other people, some of them not even Liverpool fans, by the way, I think the general consensus is that people aren't really expecting Chelsea to last the pace. I remember speaking with David Lynch about it, and I think we were looking at the chances that Chelsea are giving up each game, and they're not really showing that much stability in that regard. So, yeah, they might have a wobble, but again, you got to give them the credit for where they're at now. Josh Brayshaw, thank you, mate, for joining Anfield Agenda Ultras again. Appreciate you, sir. Chelsea have a deeper squad than us, said Ty Carr. Yeah, but does that mean it's better? You know? Deeper, I can't argue with. Because, you know, they've signed a load of good young players. But I still... Look, I can't write Chelsea off. And that's why I haven't written Chelsea off. That's why the title of tonight's stream is Two-Horse Title Race. Because that's what I think it genuinely is. So... Can we talk about the Manchester Derby just for a second, if I may? What were your thoughts on that game? Because I kind of had it on in the background while I was doing some research and a bit of work. And it was two things I take from it. One, it was one of the poorest quality games between two big sides I've seen in a long time. It was absolutely horrendous. Both teams are shite. To see City capitulate as they... Like, fair play to Diallo, by the way. Very well taken goal for him for the winner. But it's like... City have got the yips. It's mad how the psychology of sport works, isn't it? You know, when it's against you and things aren't going right for you, you almost will these things into life. And to see them just chuck away a 1-goal lead so late, and not just draw, but still find a way to let United win. I mean, it's mental. It's mental. And Kyle Walker is a disgrace. Kyle Walker is an absolute disgrace. So, the world rallied round, and rightly so, by the way, behind Kyle Walker when he was racially abused last week. And of course, we should, because that's disgusting. But I also want to see them condemn the bullshit cheating that he tried today. Because... we talk about the influence that these have on kids. We talk about, you know, highlighting the racial abuses and making sure the kids don't follow in their footsteps. And that's spot on. That's what we should be doing. But we should also be calling out the play acting and cheating from Kyle Walker. Because in the modern age with so many cameras, to have gone to ground like he did and tried to get Hoyland sent off is nothing short of pathetic. It wasn't even nearly a headbutt. It was blatant cheating. And it's scumbag behaviour. And it needs to be called out. It is pathetic from Walker. Absolutely pathetic. Even Keane going in on him in the match as well. You can't defend it. It's absolutely embarrassing from Walker. Jack Ball Johnson, thank you so much, bro. Gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, mate. They've gone to Colin, to I Love Ye, to Patrick Samara, to Nastar, to Noam, to Jack1405, to Ricky Armstrong, to Isaac, and to Reese. And one there to Dan Smith as well. Thank you, mate. You're very kind. Right, a couple of super chats that I've got to bring back up. 1 second. I hate missing out on these, so I'll try to get them as quickly as I can. Lewis Atherton. Well, you're not going to get much of an argument from me on this one, bro. He said, Mike Dean is a gobshite. His comments on the Hoyland penalty call was embarrassing. In a game like this, that's not a penalty. I mean, it was as blatant a penalty as you're ever going to see, Lewis. His foot was taken from behind him. It was a stupid challenge. Nailed, stonewall, 100% penalty, not even a conversation. So if Mike Dean said that, well, look, we shouldn't be listening to Mike Dean for advice anyway. You know, the fact that he's in a job is a disgrace after him admitting not doing his job. So the fact that Sky bring him on as the refereeing consultant is bullshit, because nobody should listen to anything he has to say. So I agree, mate. Shocking. It was a nailed on penalty. Corbin, 2003, said, Pep never was the best manager in the world, by the way. He always just had the fastest car with the best fuel. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say Guardiola isn't a good coach. He is. But there is also something to, you know, coming into a side with Messi in it and whatnot, and then going to Munich who were dominant, and then coming to City with an endless supply of cash. You can't ignore that side of things as well. But I'm just loving the downfall. I can't lie. It'll never happen again, or very rarely that I'll sit there and actually smile at United win. But I laughed my ass off at that final whistle today. Honestly, I even sent messages to Adam, to Ben, everyone going, thanks for the win, lads. Cheers for that. It was comedy gold. And just seeing them losing their shit was brilliant. And by the way, how were there empty seats for a derby? And I'm not talking about 2 minutes into the game or 5 minutes from the end. I'm talking about blocks of empty seats inside the Etihad for a Manchester derby. Tin pot nonsense. But thank God they're extending it, right? Thank God they're making it bigger, so more people can't go. What are the strengths and weaknesses of Chelsea? Said Victor. I would say weaknesses, defence. Weaknesses, goalkeeper. Strengths, attack. Youth, which I see as a strength. You know, lots of... or a lack of fear, you know. Sometimes people often talk about youth players maybe not having the experience, Victor, but they also bring a lack of fear, because they've no muscle memory of failure or anything like that. So I would say between both of them, they've got a good mix. Their midfield is a massive strength. You know, they're really starting to look like Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are the players they thought they were getting. So I would say that midfield is a massive strength of Chelsea's as well. David Massett said, karma is great watching Manchester City getting beat. Yeah, 1 win in 11 now, David, my friend. 1 win in 11 for City, and long may that continue. Craig, why do you think Chelsea fans are so hesitant to talk about a title race? I don't know. You know, look, each to their own. You know, if Chelsea fans don't want to talk about a title race, that's sound, you know. That's up to them. I'm certainly thinking of them in a title race. But look, each to their own. I mean, there's Liverpool fans who probably don't feel we're in a title race either, or don't want to talk about it too much yet. You know, each to their own. So we put up a poll earlier on where we asked you who is out of the title race. So keep voting on this. There's been 1,500 votes so far. So who is out of the title race? I said Arsenal and City, only Arsenal, or neither. By the way, anybody who's voted neither, you've lost your fucking mind. I'm sorry. But 9 points behind us, City, and we've a game in hand. So potentially 12 points. They haven't won. They've won 1 in 11. Don't be silly. They're out. Duns out. Even if they spend 500 billion in January, they are not making up that point in the second half of the season. Not a chance. Because they're probably going to drop more points. They're away at Villa on Saturday, I believe, at 12:30. That isn't going to be an easy game for them the way that they are. Take it on top of that, the instability at the club over a few other bits and bobs. There's fallings out behind the scenes, no doubt, as well. So, look, I can see people maybe not writing Arsenal off yet. I personally am, but that's a personal thing. But City are done. Like, there's no argument to be made for keeping City in the title race now. No rational argument. Heavy Metal D said, thought you were going to be watching the darts. Don't worry about what I do, mate. If I want to work, I'll work. If I don't want to work, I won't work. You know, ultimately my accountant, and by accountant I mean my wife, assured me that I need to work. So I'm working. Craig, does Man City bottling it make Bournemouth less likely to sell Kirkes? I don't know. How do we join those dots? I don't know how we're joining those dots there, mate. Sorry, I'm a bit confused by it. Do I think Chelsea are in the title race? Of course. How could I not have them in a title race when they're 2 points behind and yes, we have a game in hand, but a maximum of 5? That's doable. You know, 5 points is doable. And, you know, they had a bit of a wobbly start and they've built on that and look far more solid. Also, take into account that they don't really have to pay much attention to the Conference League. They've basically got a different squad for that. So, yeah, I do think that they deserve to be mentioned in a title race. But look, let's get into some of the news, by the way, because I want to start off with a little bit around Samuel Ricci. It's been reported today, and I want to credit LFC Transfer Room for this, by the way, because they posted this up, and I never use stories without crediting where they're from. So LFC Transfer Room said, Liverpool have joined the title race to sign Torino defensive midfielder Samuel Ricci. 23 years of age, he can operate all across the midfield, and his value is said to be above 25 million. They credit La Stampa as the outlet that posted this, and they say, based in Turin, La Stampa is one of Italy's oldest and most reputable newspapers. So yeah, we mentioned Samuel Ricci to you as a name that had come across our table maybe 2 weeks ago. So keep an eye on that name. I don't know how serious this interest is or isn't. I'm recording with David Lynch tomorrow. I'll run it past David when I speak to him, but I think this is a name that we can add into the list of potential ones anyway. Also, want to just say congratulations to Kelly Cates. And anybody who's losing their shit on X can go fuck themselves, by the way. If you're on X and you're bitching about wokeness because a woman has been given one of the leading roles in Match of the Day, you are an asshole. You are an idiot. And you are a fucking Neanderthal. This woman has earned her stripes and has been in the football business for a very long time and is genuinely fantastic at what she does. So to see herself, Gabby Logan, and also who's the other guy? Mark Chapman, all sharing the role. Brilliant. Couldn't think of 3 better people. Genuinely. Every one of those, top notch. Kelly's brilliant. Mark Chapman's brilliant. Gabby Logan's brilliant. And I think I'm very much looking forward to seeing their work on Match of the Day. So well done. Congratulations to all of them. Massive shoes to fill. You know, taking over from Gary Lineker, who's been in the role for so long, and obviously Des Lynam before Gary. But yeah, I'm delighted for Kelly. Absolutely more than deserved. She's going to be leaving her role with Sky Sports to be one of the main hosts, along with Mark Chapman and Gabby Logan, on Match of the Day, and congratulations. Also, we said this to you guys last night, but let's have another laugh about it today. Miguel Delaney reported that Manchester City have sounded out a possible move for Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba. I mean, wow. That would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I don't think women should be analysing the men's game. But she's not there as an analyst. Again, this is where people are... Kelly Cates is a presenter, not an analyst. She's a host. And even if she was an analyst, by the way, I think her credentials in football are more than underlined. But look, I think it's a great appointment for all 3 of them. I think Mark Chapman's brilliant as well, by the way. And Gabby Logan is a thorough professional and very good at what she does. So AP, you said I didn't say she was. Well, then why did you come in with the start? I don't think women should be analysing the men's game. We weren't talking about that. You brought it up, and now you're saying, no, I didn't mean Kelly, or I didn't say Kelly. Well, then what the fuck did you bring it up for? It's like having a conversation when nobody asked you a question, you're giving an answer to it. Do you know? You see, right? I misunderstood your intent, mate, because she's a presenter. Anyway, let's not fall out. Let's keep moving forward. Mohamed Salah has now reached 100 assists for Liverpool Football Club, which is absolutely phenomenal. Just another fantastic achievement in what has already been a storied Liverpool career. So, congratulations to Mo. So let's run through some other years, 15 games into the Premier League, and see where we are points-wise and where we were in other seasons. So in 18-19, after 15 Premier League matches, Liverpool had amassed 39 points. In 1920, we were miles away at this point, 43 points up on the board in 1920 after 15 games. Remember, 15 games is a maximum of 45 points, so that was ridiculous. In 2021, we had 32 points after 15 games. In 21-22, we had 34 points after 15 games. 22-23, 25 points. 23-24, 34 points. And this season, 24-25, we're up to 36 points so far after 15 games played. So, very healthy. And in a season where I don't think we're going to see a league title winner having, 90 plus points. So, yeah, exciting stuff. But I just wanted to give you guys a kind of a flavour of previous seasons and where we were at this point. Thoughts on the Manchester derby, said Wayne. I thought it was really low quality, to be honest with you. And I thought, I'm astonished at the end of it. 5 minutes to go plus extra time, and United were 1-0 down. Then give away the penalty, which was an absolutely stupid penalty to give away. Bruno Fernandes scores that, and then Amad Diallo had a wonderful goal. And everybody got to piss themselves laughing at Manchester City. 1 win in 11. As I said last night, imagine I said this to you guys last year, that this season City will go through a run in all comps of 1 win in 11. I think you would have told me I was deluded, and rightly so, because I would have told me I was deluded. Kelly apparently King Kenny's daughter. Apparently, she absolutely is King Kenny's daughter, mate. Yes, she is. Is Tottenham a must-win now? It depends what you mean by must-win. I think it's must-win for our own reasons, Of course, you look at the league title and the race and you think, of course, yeah. Because if we lost against Spurs and Chelsea won, they'd go top of the league. Even though we'd have a game in hand, they'd still be top of the league. So I would say if you say that coupled with the fact that we're, after coming off 2 draws in the Premier League, where we've conceded 5 goals over those 2 games, yeah, next Sunday does become a must-win game for me. Again, don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think, yeah, it does. It would underline where we're at and our title credentials if we can get that win. And also, let's not forget the Diaz goal ruled out against Spurs. So we have, we need to go there and get the win. I'm sure the lads will be fired up for it. So Michael Owen has been speaking a little bit about Trent Alexander-Arnold and the situation. And this is what Michael Owen had to say. As I say, you can lose control, and once you move, it's almost then that you're out there on the open market, and it can be a strange feeling and a strange place to be when you're not where you feel like you belong, where you grew up, where you're loved, and where you're just ingrained into the fabric of the club, which is exactly where I was at that point, talking about when he left. So I can't decide what's going on here, Michael Owen. Is he trying to convince Trent to stay, or still telling him to call up and talk to him about Madrid? But what I will say is he's right about it never being the same if he comes back after he leaves. That is an undoubtable point, I believe, or an inarguable point. Super chat I need to catch up on. Sorry. A couple actually. Hang on, Lorcan. I need to get yours up as well. So Lorcan, thank you so much, mate. Lorcan Riley, 12 months now with us as a member. So a quick 12 months. Love this channel. Might not always agree with your opinion. Well, you're blocked. Jokes. But love your passion for Liverpool and this channel. You're the best for Liverpool news. Thank you, mate. Look, we won't always agree. It is just opinions. So, if we can do it in a respectful manner, that's the way forward. Does Jota start on Wednesday and Sunday? No on Wednesday, because I don't want to overwork him. But I would bring him off the bench on Wednesday to keep him ticking over, maybe 15-20 at the end. I would start Chiesa through the centre personally, maybe with Darwin, or Darwin through the centre, Chiesa on the right. But he has to start next Sunday against Spurs, has to. I mean, he underlined what we missed very quickly yesterday when he came on and got a wonderful goal. So yeah, I would say not so much Wednesday, but definitely next Sunday. Will McAllister be back for Spurs? Yes, mate. He's back now, full stop. Oh no, he's not. He's got Southampton game. I think he's sitting out, isn't he? Still with the suspension. No, he's back. He's back. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Mac is back, sorry. And he will be available for next Sunday and Wednesday if the manager wanted to use him. I was confusing myself there, sorry, about the ban in the first place. Omar Hassan said, Craig, we defo need to be in the market for a number 9. I agree, Omar, mate, I agree. I just don't think we need to do it in the January window. For me, and again, it's just a personal preference, midfield and potentially a left back are positions we need to look at in the January window. Or maybe a centre back, but a defender nonetheless, I would say. And then in the summer, I think that's the market where you move for the number 9 or the attacker. Remember that 4-3 win at Anfield against Spurs? That was insane, said Mario. Don't understand the panic about City pretending that they're prime City. I'm not panicked, mate. I'm just trying to give them the fair dues. It'd be unfair of me at this point to say they're not in a title race. Doesn't mean that they will last the pace. Doesn't mean that we'll stay perfect. But right now, I think within 2 points of us, albeit we have a game in hand, it would be unfair of me not to say that they're there or thereabouts. Which game will Slot miss? To the best of my understanding, it's Wednesday. I know that there was a bit of disagreement in here yesterday on whether it was Wednesday he misses or not, but I've not seen anything to say it isn't Wednesday. So for me, it'll be Wednesday he's on the sideline and then he'll be back. Alex said, still Man City in the race. Alex, stop. That's just silly, mate. It's just silly. Let's be fair, Alex. They're 9 points behind us and we have a game in hand. So that could be 12. They've won 1 game in 11. In what world is it rational to see them still in the title race? It isn't. It's just, they're done. They're done, mate. There's no way they're coming back. None. Zero. Not a chance. None. Zero. Zip, nada. Kinda. None. Not happening. Dunzo. Enjoy it. Enjoy every second of it, Alex. I am. McAllister is banned for the next Champions League game. I don't think he is. He was served his ban for the last one, Brian. He was banned for the game against Girona. I don't believe he's banned for this one. Or am I getting fucking confused again? He was banned for the Girona game, wasn't he? I think he's back for the next one, mate. I'm confusing myself here, by the way, but I'm almost certain that he was banned for the Girona game and he's back. So every so often we just get a factual super chat that you just can't argue with. My gosh, you're beautiful. And hope your fam are okay. Well, shocked, thank you. I won't even correct your grammar on that one, Charlie. But thank you, mate. Appreciate you. If we don't get Zubamendi, who are the alternatives? Said Stephen L. So we spoke about Samuel Ricci, and that's kind of the only name that I really have for you, Stephen, mate. I'd love to throw Ederson, his name, into the mix from Atalanta, but I honestly feel like the only names I feel that there's any kind of substance to are obviously Zubamendi and then Ricci. But even with Ricci, I'm not 100% certain how deep that interest is. But the Ricci one kind of makes sense to me for a few reasons. We know that Richard Hughes has a great contact book for Italy. For those of you who aren't aware, he grew up in Italy. His father worked for Penguin Publishing and he grew up in Italy. So he's got a very good knowledge of Italian football. He's got a good set of connections in Italy. And that's why you see the link to the Torino player and I thought to myself, okay, there might be something to this because it's a league he knows well. Right, so we'll end this poll and we'll give you the results of it. We've had over 2,000 votes and we said who is out of the race. So the poll results are as follows. 45% believe it's only City that are out. Next, 38% feel like City and Arsenal are out. 3% feel only Arsenal. And 14% of you have lost your damn minds and saying neither of them are out of the title race. I will die on the hill of Man City being out of the title race. In what, give me one logical reason. Just one. Who's to say that City are in it. Anybody. One reason. One logical reason that City are still in the title race. And I will happily back off if I believe that that's correct. I think that people are just saying that maths. That's not a logical reason though. Mathematically anybody could win the league then. But, so that's... not a logical reason. I mean, it's probably the best one I'm going to get, in all honesty, mate, but... And by the way, Kovacic was on the pitch today. Kovacic was on that pitch when that meltdown happened. So they had their midfielder back. Craig for Prime Minister. Don't you mean Taoiseach here in Ireland, mate? I am Irish. Happily run my own country, though. Arna misses Southampton game only. Macca is back now. There's only one game ban. Who do we play in left back? Rob was suspended. Probably... It's a good question. I'm probably leaning to Gomez, in all honesty. Yeah, probably leaning at Gomez. But then you haven't put Kwanzaa alongside Van Dijk. So, I don't know. Is the honest answer. I think people are just scared. And I think that's it, David. I think people are still talking about a previous version of Manchester City. If this was Manchester City last year, the year before, and we were this many points clear of them, I would still have a little doubt. But we can only go off what we've seen unfold and what we've seen from them this season. There's nothing to suggest that they're capable of turning this around. And even if we talk about the January window, more damage could be done before then for them. Did you see the news that Rodri will return earlier than expected? It doesn't really make a difference to me, to be fair, because let's say Rodri does come back. There's no guarantee that he's walking in to be the same Rodri again immediately. I mean, look at Virgil as an example. A lot of players who've gone through an ACL have said many times that to trust your body again, to have that same freedom of movement and confidence in what you're doing, takes a while to build up. So, even if he does return, I still don't think it's going to be enough for them because... and I also feel like he's going to make a manoeuvre to get out of there in the summer. I really feel like he's going to end up wanting to move to Madrid. Back to Madrid, I should say, but to the other side of the city. Adam Kanu, thank you, mate, for gifting 5 memberships. Really, really kind of you. They've gone to JJR to show me the Mane, to Divarian, to Vicanes, and to Gareth Brennan. Very kind of you, mate. Thank you. Gary, you said I missed your super chat, bro. Bear with me because I can't see it on my back end system. Leave it. Give me 2 seconds, bro. I'm gonna have a look for this because I can't see it on my system here. 1 second. Sorry, Gary. Just bear with me, bro. I'm trying to find it here in the back end system. Can't see it. I'm not saying you haven't sent it, mate. Sorry, I'm just saying it's not shown for me. But leave it with me, Gary. Leave it with me, mate. Anyway, I do have 2 other super chats that came in that I got to get to. Lewis, thank you, my friend. Said, hey Craig, just want to take a moment to say thanks for the streams. We had them on in the background while at the gym, and I've lost 90 pounds. That is fucking amazing, mate. Well in. That's so good. 40 kilos, 90 pound, mate. That is amazing. I know what that takes to do. As I probably remember saying to you before, I lost 102 pound or 103 pound at one point. Obviously put a lot of it back on, but I'm down another 18 pound myself. So, I'm so proud of you, Lewis. That is incredible, mate. That will be life changing for you. And I bet you notice it, man. I bet you're sleeping better. I bet you're tasting food better. I bet you everything in your life just feels a bit better. And we're so proud of you, man. That is awesome. Well in. And the idea of me being on in a gym kind of makes me smile a little. It's probably the closest I'm going to get to a gym. Charlie said, if we make no signings in January, hashtag Hughes out. Yeah, look, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they need to, like, they've done nothing since they've come in my opinion. Nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. One sec, Mark's messaging me. Yeah, again, we even have Mark looking, mate, Gary, and we can't find that chat anywhere, bro. I'm really sorry if you sent it. It just didn't come through to us that I can see. And if you did send it and it didn't come through, Gary, I'm happy to PayPal you the money back, mate. I hate seeing someone waste their money, so I apologise. Rodri only being 28 is crazy. I defo think he leaves to Madrid, said Bradley. There's been some talk about him being linked with Madrid as well, mate. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And I think it's going to become a little bit tasty at Manchester City. I think the snidiness is already seeming to start and the infighting is starting to happen. Jay Stevenson, I found your super chat, bro. So I apologise for that one. I have that here for you now, though. In my opinion, Robinson in January because we know he wants us, said Jay. I think it's his age profile, mate. Honestly, he's 28 on his next birthday. And I think he's more than good enough. I've no argument to put up against the idea of it other than his age. So yeah, that's the only thing I'd say. You know, he's 27, heading for 28. It would be very, very unlike us to go out there and bring in somebody like... But look, maybe it'd buy you a bit of time, right? So I don't know. Never say never in this mad world of ours, but it would surprise me. And again, my apologies that I missed that in the first place, mate. Jay, sorry, apologies on that one, bro. So Cohen, I got your one. I can't bring it up on screen, but I do have it here, mate. You said, don't get why we shouldn't get a number 9 if we need one now. So Cohen's super chat was, don't get why we shouldn't get a number 9 if we need one now. I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying, you know, in the list of priorities of what we're short that will fuck us up this season, I think that's a little bit further down the line, Cohen. And also January, you know, it's a difficult market to get signings in at the best of times. Particularly if you're looking at like Omar Marmoush, who wants to probably finish the season where he's at. And I'll be honest as well, Cohen, mate. I'd be annoyed if we brought in a number 9 and not a midfielder in January. Because we still have more than enough bodies through the centre. 6 of them to play in the 3 front positions. So I just don't think it's a priority for the minute. Cohen, I'm literally reading out your fucking super chat, mate, that you've told me that I've missed twice, and I'm literally after spending 2 minutes talking about it. So I apologise I missed it, mate, but I've just gone through it for you. Orange boy, and by the way, if that sounded snidey, mate, my apologies on that, because I didn't mean it to. I just, you know me, I'm a bit blunt at times. So Orange boy said, Craig, I watched the Chelsea Brentford game, and honestly, I don't think they look like a title winning team. Massive opportunity for us. So on top of that, the metrics and the data behind the chances they're conceding isn't great. They don't, as you said, they don't look like it, and the stats aren't showing them to be it. But, you know, does anybody else get Spurs vibes of this Chelsea team? And I don't mean that they're going to capitulate. I mean that they have a great purple patch where everything's going right for them. They've no serious injuries in key personnel. But will they last the whole season? Because Spurs were looking incredible when we were robbed in London with that Diaz goal. So, you know, as somebody pointed out earlier, similar kind of vibes maybe, but I think Chelsea are a little bit more polished than that Spurs team. Charlie said, apologies if you've been asked this, but does our transfer policy annoy you, where we don't ever buy the finished product and the age profiles, etc.? Sorry, I'm laughing at that, mate, because asking does our transfer policy annoy me makes me kind of chuckle, because it's probably the thing I'm most outspoken on the channel, and the thing that I've probably divided myself away from a good chunk of Liverpool fans on. I despise these owners and their miserly ways in the market. So yes, the policy annoys me. Not so much the not buying the finished product part, to be honest with you, because I've no problem with Liverpool making players into superstars. Sometimes, yeah, you need, and we bought it with Van Dijk. To be fair, we bought the finished product with the Coutinho money. But overall, mate, 100% the transfer policy annoys me, because there's always an excuse, or we're always looking for something that doesn't exist, or that they can't find, and there's no plan B, or there's no second on the list. So yeah, it definitely does annoy me. What about yourself, Charlie? Does it annoy you? Will said, mad to say, for all the forwards we have, a number 9 guaranteed goal scorer has to be the first summer signing. Well, look, if Jota can stay fit, you know, I think he will fire more than enough goals to keep that position interesting for the remainder of the season. I'm intrigued. The one I'm really intrigued by personally is to see what Federico can do, and where Arne is going to play him when he gets him fit fully. Is he going to be through the centre? Is he maybe going to be used as cover for Mo? You know, there are some options freeing up now, whereas for the last, couple of months, he only had 4 players to play the 3 positions, and we were having to kind of force the issue a little bit through the centre. Flavsy said, Craig, don't you think this Chelsea side are becoming a problem? They're starting to worry me game by game. What's your probability that we win the title? So, right, let's break down the question. Is the Chelsea side starting to worry me? Well, yeah, they're a problem. I give them all the respect in that regard. They're there by merit. They didn't accidentally find their way to that position in the league table. I'm unsure whether they will last the pace or not, but for now, certainly, I think they're a problem, yeah. And the probability of us winning the title. So I look at the title race like this, mate. And let me know if you agree in the chat. I would say it like this. I can't sit here and tell you we're going to win the league. Can't do that. But what I can sit there and tell you is that the only thing that will stop us winning the league are us. So that's how I feel about it. If we do what we should do, if we do what we're capable of doing, if we do what we've been doing and polish it up a little bit, nobody's going to be able to keep with us. So to me, we're our competitors for the title. And if we do what we need to do, should do, we win it. That's the way I look at it at the minute. Everybody else has to rely on us fucking up. We don't. We just have to keep going about our business and do what we've done. And look, we've had a bit of a wobble now. We've dropped 4 points from 2 games. We're still top of the league, albeit by a lesser margin. Arsenal were talking about chasing us down, remember? After we drew with Newcastle, it was all, the race is back on. It didn't last a week before they dropped more points. City are absolutely all over the shop. So it's us. We're our own competitors, and that's the way I feel about it. If I was in that dressing room, that's the way I'd be thinking about it. Bradley Hall, thank you, Bradley, for your membership, mate, and being with us. Really appreciate you. So, do you think we'll have 3 contracts on Christmas Day? No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. I don't think Trent wants to be here. I don't know that for a fact. Again, this is an opinion. But it's hard to feel like he wants to be here. Like, again, I'm going to keep coming back to the same thing. I look at Trent's situation like this, and this is me being as fair as I can be in my own warped little mind. Do I understand when Jurgen was leaving that he wanted to take stock of everything? Absolutely. Same with Salah, same with Virgil, and any other players. So I understood that, and I think as the contract situation wasn't resolved and we had to wait for the new coach, I think most people thought, okay, we can make peace with that. Then Arne Slot was appointed, and again I could understand that players, and I say plural, wanted to wait and see what Arne was going to be like, what he was going to be like on the training pitch, what he was going to be like as a person. Was he somebody that they feel that will improve them? And I feel like they got the answer to that quite quickly. And so did we as fans, because we got lots of positivity from the players talking about the attention to detail of Arne on the training pitch, the small little things he's doing to make their games better. And then the last question that needed to be answered was, if these guys stayed at Liverpool under Arne Slot, are we going to be competitive? Will we challenge for major trophies? And again, I feel that answer has been a resounding yes. So I've run out of excuses as to why Trent Alexander-Arnold won't commit to the club. And now I'm starting to get pissed off about it, if I'm being really blunt. Because Virgil and Mo, it isn't in their hands. Yes, they will have a big say in it, but ultimately there has to be a bit of compromise. But we've heard them say, I want to be here. Both of them, to the TV cameras. The local boy who claims to have, a heart that bleeds Liverpool red won't come out and say he wants to stay at the club. And that pisses me off. And I'm not even a Scouser. So, nobody will deny that the contract negotiations are difficult. And nobody will deny that Trent, is going to want to try and get paid as much as he can. That's what these contract negotiations are about. But I view, and again, this is just me, I view somebody saying, I'm doing these things behind the scenes as a cop-out. That's the way I look at it. I think he's taken us for mugs. I do. I can't lie. That's because I don't know him. And I'm not getting any indication from his body language, which is hard to judge, from his words or anything, that he wants to be here. So, as I said, that's just how I've read the situation. I'm not saying it's 100% right. But as each week goes by without Trent coming out and saying categorically he wants to stay at this club, I'm starting to feel a little bit pissed off by it all, in all honesty. Trent said it'll be hidden from the public. Yeah, you see, there's 2 ways to look at what he said there, right? There's one way, which could be fair enough, deal with it privately behind the scenes. But let me ask you this question. If you think that Trent wants to stay and is dealing with it behind the scenes quietly, why do Madrid still think they have a chance? Why hasn't he told Madrid privately to fuck off? I think he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth, playing one off against the other, because no part of me believes in any way, shape or form that Real Madrid will pay him the type of money that Liverpool will probably end up paying him if he stays. None. So you can view it as he wants to keep it private, or you can view it as he's been a bit of a shithouse about it and stringing people along. And now I think we're getting to the point, in my mind, where we're at the stringing people along part. Again, just my opinion. I'm not saying you have to feel that way, or I'm not saying it's right, but that's how I look at it right now. I've yet to hear the words, and it pisses me off as a Liverpool fan. I want to stay. I, the local boy, who only 6 months ago wanted to captain the club and wanted to win everything here with my boyhood club, suddenly can't even tell Madrid that he's made his mind up and he's wanting to stay at Liverpool. That pisses me off. Oh mate, no, don't apologise for your comment, bro. All good. Like, I can understand. If somebody says to me, Craig, Trent said he wants to keep it, private. If they feel comfortable with that and they think that's, they're not worried about it, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. You feel however you feel, man. That's all good. But I'm just telling you how I feel about it. I think if he doesn't come, if he has any thoughts of leaving and he doesn't come out and say soon that he's weighing up whether to stay or go, or he doesn't come out and be, honesty is the way to go with this, because most people would hate to see him leave but could understand the lure of Real Madrid, and maybe a guy wanting to try live a dream and go over there and play with Mbappe and Bellingham. Most people could understand that if you're upfront and honest. But if you string people along and you've already made your decision in your mind and you're just dragging it out and out as try and get closer to the end of the season where, there's less anxiety inside the stadium or there's less bad mood towards you, I think that can be cowardly. So, let's wait and see. Right, Adam said, did you see the Arsenal fans yesterday cheering when Robbo gets sent off? It's so cringy. I can't stand them. No, I didn't see them because I don't pay any attention to what the fucking Egypts are doing. They are an absolute embarrassment to themselves, some of these Arsenal fans. But they should look inwardly, because I said this to you guys yesterday and I'll say it again. I don't think any other club that would view themselves as a big club would allow a manager to have spent hundreds of millions of quid and delivered one trophy in 6 years and go around with the fucking arrogance that they've gone around with or carry themselves with. So let them keep being deluded. We'll keep laughing at them and they'll keep coming up short and winning fuck all. It is what it is. That's the way I look at them. The detective said, Chelsea give me 13-14 Liverpool vibes and Leicester 15-16. We probably need north of 85 to win the league. We just need to stay consistent. Yeah, I think that's fair. They have something about them. They've got the wind behind them at the minute, Chelsea. And, let's wait and see if they stay the pace. But, they deserve to be spoken about as our nearest challengers at the minute, because that's what they are. And look, by the way, I'm not wrong about Arsenal fans. I was a bit naive. And I said this to you before. One of the times I went on the kickoff, there was an Arsenal fan there. And from the second I walked in, I overhear that person saying, God, I hate Liverpool. And I've not even been introduced to the guy yet. And then I sat there as he tried to shit on Liverpool and talk with an absolutely undeserving arrogance about what they were going to do. And that was kind of a turning point for me. That was the one I lost my shit on, by the way, on the kickoff. That was the time I had the row. That was that, because I was fucking wound up from the second I got there listening to this gobshite. And then they've done nothing. And they're still gone around arrogant. And they think that they have some divine right to be given the title this year because City are falling away. And yet, I come back to the game against them at the Emirates. 15 minutes to go, 1-0 up, and Manchester City would have gone for the throw. Liverpool would have gone for the throw. And Martinelli's running to the corner flag like a little bitch. I've no fear of them. None. Because they are the perennial bottlers. They laugh at Spurs and call them the bottlers. But Arsenal are just as much of a laughing stock in my eyes. One trophy in 6 years with a manager who spent hundreds of millions, and they go around like they're after achieving what City have achieved and won 4 in a row. It's undeserved. And I don't know where they get the arrogance from. Every time we do something, they try to compare one of their things to it. We win a league, it's not an invincible season. Saka scores, he's not as good as Salah. Lego Head wins a couple of games, he's the greatest manager in the world. Sorry. Not for me. Will said, I give up caring what Trent wants. It shows in his game that he's had his head turned by Real Madrid. We have a quality replacement in Bradley. So yeah, look, as you said, I've kind of trying to give up figuring out as well, but he walked around yesterday and jogged around with his fucking hands on his hips at times, which was inexcusable. in a game where we were down to 10 men. Szoboszlai, Jones and Gravenberch were running themselves into the ground. Salah was working hard. Darwin worked hard when he came on. Everybody was putting a shift in. And Trent strolling around halfway through the game, jogging back. That's just not acceptable. It just is not acceptable. V. Aaron said, "Hey Craig, my opinion is Trent wants out. That's based on his attitude, jogging about, no urgency, cop-out responses. I don't want him as a captain." See, I find it difficult to speak about the captaincy, right? Because I wasn't the biggest fan of Virgil getting the armband because I didn't see the leadership qualities in him. But I was wrong about that. And he's just gone about it in a different way. So, I don't know what type of captain Trent would make. I don't. But I do agree with you on the attitude not looking great. And I know he's an introverted kind of laid back dude anyway. But I can only think about yesterday's game and what we saw, which was a poor attitude. What have we got with this? Charlie said, with Trent, I also think he wants out. His body language shows it. He's not said or hinted he wants to stay. Salah and VVD and Mr. I want 350k. Look, I'm going to say this. No matter what happens with the Trent contract situation, we are idiots if we give him £350,000 a week. Idiots. Because no right back in the world deserves to be on £350,000 a week. And there is no world, no way, no how, no planet that Trent deserves to be spoken about in the same context as Salah from a wage perspective. It is nonsense. He's already on more than enough money. So 250, he should be running with open arms to take that deal. Because he's not worth 350 grand a week. He just isn't. And I say that as somebody who thinks Trent's brilliant, by the way. But not 350 grand a week for a right back. No way. Especially when we know what Mo had to do to get that. And I know, by the way, Trent and Robbo have put up unbelievable assist numbers in seasons past and whatnot. And I give him the fair dues for that. That's why he's on a good wage now. But Salah had to rewrite the record books to break our wage structure. And they still made a big deal out of it. And he barely got it. So, nah, not for me. He doesn't deserve anywhere near that money. He just doesn't. Rain said, if Trent wants to leave, oh well, but I can't see why. And that, my friend, is my problem at the moment with him. I can't see why either. So I've worked backwards in this situation to giving him the benefit of the doubt when Jurgen left. We all seen how upset Trent was at Jurgen's departure. Totally understandably. Jurgen would have been a huge influence on his career and a big person to see leave. But like you've said, mate, I don't see why you'd want to go now. Because we're brilliant. And we're in a great position. And it looks like Virgil and Mo are going to stay. Arna's going to build on the start that he's had. And the club is again going in the right direction. I don't see why he'd want to go. I think he's made up his mind already, by the way. He's just... I don't think he's... So, I think that he's made up his mind in his own head, but he doesn't want to face up to the actual reality of the situation. I think he loves the idea of going to Madrid. I think he can see himself in a Madrid shirt. But as Michael Owen said as well, that whole actually doing the leaving of your boyhood club part, it's one thing to think about it. It's another thing to sign that paperwork, come out in front of the cameras, say goodbye to Liverpool fans, know that when you come back to the city of Liverpool after your career with Madrid, you're never going to be looked at in the same way. I'm not saying you'll be hated. You'll be given the credit for what you achieved at the club, which was top notch, but you'll never be looked at the same. You'll never be held in the same esteem as a Gerrard or a Dalglish. These are just facts. If he goes to Madrid, he might win 2 Champions Leagues and blah blah blah, But he'll never feel the same in his home city again if that's where he decides to settle down and have his family. He just won't. Chelsea are looking very dangerous, said Push Dant Sharma. They are. Chelsea deserve credit, but... So let me ask you another quick question, actually. Let me throw this up on a poll. One sec. Okay. So, question. Can Chelsea last the pace in the title race? Yes or no? Put that up to a poll. We'll see how you guys feel about it. We'll check back in it in a few minutes. Benjamin, thank you very much, sir. Said Pep Guardiola really needs to man up. Some of his comments are pathetic. I agree. Delusional. Saying that they're playing well. You know, I've heard him come out after some of these results recently, Benjamin, saying that they've played well. No, they haven't. He is delusional about it. He is. And it almost feels like the spoiled child that has always had everything his whole life has met a girl and the girl said no to him. And he's never heard no before, because any toys that he wants he gets. Anything that little baby Pep wants he gets. Be it loads of dosh, be it whatever. Media fawning over him. Everybody licking his arse and telling him how great he is non-stop over and over and over and over again. And now finally that a little bit of problems have crept in, he doesn't know how to handle it. And he's going on podcasts talking about him not eating right and he can only stomach soup, and he's, you know, scratching his head, and it's fucking mental. Like, I'm actually genuinely starting to feel like we should be concerned over this man's well-being. It's football, Pep. You know, I'm sure you have a beautiful family and a great life. You know, football is important, but it is not that important. So that's how I view it right now. Is like, he's delusional because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to deal with this. And I want to make one thing really, really clear. And I mean abundantly clear. I have absolutely zero fucking pity for him or that club whatsoever. Zero. Every day this happens, my heart gets a little bit bigger. Every time Pep loses his shit, my erection grows a little bit stronger. Every time Manchester City players look forlorn out on that pitch, I'm air humping the sofa at home. Because it makes my heart fucking sing. Because I detest everything about them. Everything about how they built that club. Everything about how they've stuck two fingers up to the rest of us. Everything about how they've thrown a grenade in to try and launch a civil war in the Premier League. Everything about that pumped up, oil-rich fucking Wigan is coming home to roost. And I'm here for it. And I'm going to sit back, feet up, and enjoy every goddamn second of it. And I don't give a fuck who that offends. I don't give a damn how many City fans want to punch me in the face. You know I'm right. It is all built on sand. It is all built on lies. It is all built on bullshit. And the chickens are coming home to roost. Enjoy every fucking minute of it. Because I am. If we grab Kirkes in January, that'll be a bonus. Get shut up, Darwin. Time is up, I'm afraid. And by the way, this is why I knew Goldbridge was lying about the letter from Man City. Remember, he pretended he was getting sued by Man City. I thought to myself, bullshit. If I haven't got sued by Man City yet, or threatened by them legally, there's no way you are. And look, I've been so adamant about this whole City thing for so long. And I get wound up when I hear, oh, you're jealous. No, I'm not jealous. I was jealous when United were winning leagues. And I was getting slaughtered by my mates who were United fans. I was jealous when Arsenal were winning leagues under Wenger. I was 100% jealous of that. But I have never once been jealous of anything Manchester City have achieved. Never. Not for a second. Because all of it to me is empty, soulless. It is a version of a modern club that professes to be great, professes to be well supported, professes to be this behemoth, has the fucking cheek to bring a European Cup on a world tour that nobody gave a shit about. Keeps talking about extending the stadium that they were gifted, even though they can't even fill it for Manchester Derby. Everything about it is rotten to the core. Everything about it is empty, hollow and bullshit. Everything about the sponsorship, all the dodginess, all the crap, we all know it. Just people in the media don't have the fucking balls to talk about it. So, brilliant. Bring it on. Long may it continue. Every damn second of it. As they say in one of the bookies ads, I'm here for it. So yeah, that's why I'm being honest about it. Because I would be jealous if it was another club. I'd be very jealous. But not with them. That's why I've refused to acknowledge them as a proper derby either. Nah, sorry. They're never going to be the same as a United game or an Everton game. Never. They won't even have the same as a Chelsea Mourinho, which I looked at as a bit more of a derby even. Or a bit more of a game that mattered. City are just... what's wrong with modern football, encapsulated in one football club. Benjamin said, his demeanour is of somebody who's been told something. I'm a champion for men well-being, especially with how we are treated, but this guy is normal. If that was about, I think was that about Pep? I'm not sure, Benjamin. This player has struggled with injuries this season, but I'm amazed how much Ryan has put himself through so far this season. Best player so far. He has been incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. He should be very proud of himself, Ryan Gravenberch, because everybody's known that he carries the talent and the ability. And it looks foolish that we only paid 40 million for him. If I'm a Bayern Munich fan right now, I would be scratching my head as to how they weren't able to get a tune out of him, or how they weren't able to find a way. Even with Jurgen, you look at it and think he probably didn't utilise him as much as he could have, but maybe it's a Dutch connection, maybe, I don't know, but whatever Arne and Ryan have been able to figure out between them, it's been a beautiful thing to watch his development and his confidence grow. And I've very rarely seen somebody as press resistant. He's so good. And I said when we signed him, I'm unsure how this works out. I'm unsure if we've made a mistake. I was so wrong. He's been brilliant. And it's great to see. Imagine that we won the league. I also see Klopp is upset about everything changed in the league after he left. I do wonder if Jurgen's having a wry little smile at this, because... yeah, he was, he came up against peak Manchester City, didn't he? And look, the heights we achieved, if you take City out of it, which I know is difficult, but what Jurgen got us to achieve, points-wise, consistency-wise, just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Craig, would you be jealous of a Chelsea title? I hated them as a kid, but not so much anymore. But I'd be jealous of it. I still have questions over some stuff at Chelsea, if I'm being honest with you. I still think there's some unanswered questions around the Abramovich era, the sale of the club, and a few other things, but I don't know if I'd feel jealous or if I'd feel annoyed that we let one go. Yeah, I'm not sure, is the honest answer. Right, let me get back to some more comments that I missed out on. There was one from Tanya I wanted to catch up on. Where's that one gone? 1 second. I'm trying to find this comment. Lance Armstrong trophies. Yes, Tanya, that's it. And also I did nothing wrong, 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 then 115 charges. Still did nothing wrong, did nothing wrong, did nothing wrong. I will never believe, even if they get found innocent of every one of them charges, I won't believe they didn't do it. I'll just believe that they found a way to make them go away. Nothing will ever convince me that they didn't. And do you know what riles me the most? Is people talking about the fact that oh well, they've made this money now. They've made 700 million last year. You know, they only spent X amount in the last few years. But that's irrelevant, because we're talking about how they got to this position, and people have become desensitized to what got Manchester City here, which was splurging cash they hadn't got, that they shouldn't have been able to spend. So, you know, talking about where they are now, yeah, I well believe they're generating the money now, but how did they get to here? That's the problem. That's what people, I think, are being forgetful about. The Liverpool prophet said, Craig, do you think if Jurgen was still here, we'd be walking it at the minute? No, I don't. I think we'd be in a worse off position than we are under Arne. And I'll explain why. It's not because I think Arne is a better coach than Jurgen. That's still to be determined. But I feel like a manager can only do so much talking with players, can only inspire the players so many times, can only go to the well so many times and make the stirring speech. And I think maybe Jurgen's time had run its course in that regard. So I liked the way that was handled. I like that Jurgen chose his time to go. You know, he was unsackable for me, Jurgen Klopp. So I think if he had stayed this season, no, I don't think we'd be in the position we're in now. I don't. But only because of what I've spoken about, those inspiring words and tactics and other things that the players will have heard or been spoken to so many times. Sometimes a fresh perspective is a good thing. Barcelona lost 1-0. My God. Even after going 1-0 down, they were 2-7 on to win. And they still lost. Oh, that's incredibly bad. Did you see Ahmad play today? That's the impact I now expect from Jones. I did, yeah. It was an incredibly good finish from Ahmad for the goal. Took it really well. First touch was brilliant. And deservedly won man of the match. Yeah, he's a talented player. Still has a long way to go, but he is a talented player, no doubt about that. I knew the City before the takeover were an okay club, but never winning leagues and getting into Europe. Nick, City before the takeover were a top club with great supporters that got relegated down the division, sold out Main Road, had a heart and soul. And what they've become ripped that heart and soul out of the club, in my opinion. Honestly, like, I always thought of City fans as being top notch. They were setting attendance records when they were relegated down. But that is all. I'm sure they're still there, by the way. I'm sure that same group, that hardcore group, are still there. But they're now being, I guess, drowned down by all the Johnny-come-latelys who used to wear Chelsea jerseys. Do you think the expectation for Slot to win the league, given him unwanted pressure? Well, see, I don't know if he feels that there's pressure on him to win the league or not. So it's very difficult for me to talk about it. I'd probably, if I'm being really honest with you, I think he knows we're in a good position, but I don't think he's, wondering where he's going to put the medal in his house yet. I think he has to keep a level head in that dressing room and has to do the old one game at a time stuff and, map it out. Because things can go wrong very quickly. He's been around football long enough to know that. So it's okay for him to say that and the players, but we're fans. We don't have to be logical. We can wear our hearts on our sleeves. Craig, did you see the Dublin airport post of City fans returning home in Chelsea jerseys? I didn't, Ella, no, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'm absolutely convinced, Ella, that there is a group of Manchester City fans that if we looked in the back of their wardrobes, there'd be Chelsea jerseys there. I'm absolutely convinced of that. I've got a feeling that if Slot doesn't win the league this year, next year will be so much more difficult. Other clubs will spend. Oh, I agree. That's what I'm so... There's a chance there this year, Oscar. There is. There's a chance, maybe an unexpected chance, because I didn't think we were going to be in a title race in the summer. No, not one bit. My goal was for Arne Slot to just beat the points tally from last year, and I've said that many times. He said it himself when he came in as well. So that's why it's even more important to me, Oscar, that we keep our foot on the gas now, go into the market and get the player or two that Slot needs, because our biggest competitors are us. It's in our hands. We need to go win this league title. So I agree with you, mate, 100%. We might not have a better opportunity. Oh, maybe we do. Maybe we're here next year again, but there is an opportunity this year, and these owners had best put their hand in their damn pockets and not let it slip away. And also, don't underestimate the impact of us in the last couple of games of having O'Canada and McAllister. Two very important players in the squad, particularly McAllister in that midfield. I think you'll see a difference come back against Spurs when Mac is in the team again. Only me who doesn't rate Foden, Coutinho 2.0. Well, look, I'll be honest, mate, I think Phil Foden has all the talent and ability to be David Silva-esque. I don't know why he's dropped off. I don't. But I do absolutely rate Phil Foden as a good player. I think he's an incredibly talented footballer. I think he's an incredibly unlikable footballer from the way he conducts and carries himself, but I think he's a good player. Do you think we are missing Canade? Not as much as I think some other people believe, Crimbo Slot. And by the way, thank you, mate, for your 13 months membership. I think we're missing him a little bit, but nowhere near as much as I think people are making out. Because, let me explain why. I don't think Joe Gomez is being particularly poor outside of one game. And I think people again forget that Joe Gomez was alongside Virgil van Dijk in that title-winning season and performed really, really well. And had a very, very good partnership with very good numbers. So yes, we'll miss Ibu. But I think the McAllister not being a midfield part is a bigger miss. Because Jones and Szoboszlai are almost too similar. Both of them really energetic, both of them fantastic at creating opportunities, getting into good positions, but maybe not having the guile or the deftness of touch of an Alexis McAllister. Some people just support the team who's winning. Yes they do. Do you think our form is just a blip on the radar? Yes and no. Star player. I would be the first one to sit here and say we've won some games this season while not playing brilliant, but being defensively solid. The Newcastle game, I don't really even think too deeply about that, because that was just a batshit mad game, which happens between us and Newcastle, and you get one or two every year. And we were seconds away from winning it, and then, an error came, and, so be it. He'd earned the right to make a mistake. But the Fulham game, that, again, it was a mad circumstance, wasn't it? Go all the way into the first minute of the game, when Robbo got fouled, and then he never really recovered from that, as in psychologically and maybe physically, made some mistakes, but we still found a way to get ourselves back to a 2-2 draw, and maybe could have looked to nick a winner. So yeah, I think down to the injuries as well. Like our injuries have not gotten spoken about anywhere near as much as other clubs. Best keeper in the world was missing, Jota missing, Chiesa hadn't really been fit yet, Darwin was misfiring, Jones was injured for a little bit as well, I think, if my memory's right. Trent was injured. Bradley's out. Canade's out. And nobody really talks about that too much. Elliott was out for quite a period as well. But we kept picking up points and winning. And we weren't getting our credit in the media. When we played Arsenal, all we heard about all fucking week was Arsenal's injury crisis. Even though Saliba wasn't there because he got himself sent off. So yeah. I think we just we need a bit more credit for what we've achieved. Suleiman said, we miss Canade covering when Trent moves around. Sorry, mate. I don't know why this isn't coming up for me. There we go. Said, we miss Canade covering when Trent moves around. We do a little bit, but again, it was hard to talk about that yesterday because we had to change system and shape yesterday after the red card. So, and when we had Kwanzaa playing alongside Gomez, that was just a mistake. I actually think bringing on Kwanzaa yesterday was a mistake as well. Psychologically for Kwanzaa, I think it was a mistake, and I think it might dent his confidence some more. Isak could just come back and Kelleher couldn't reach the ball. The angles are deceptive. It was way over his reach. Oh, I'm talking about Kelleher flapping at the ball, not that goal, mate. The Isak goal was just a great finish. Nick said, Craig, I bet you're getting the new Liverpool shirt next year. Oh, absolutely, mate. I'll be decked out with Adidas next year from head to toe. Don't worry about that. Shirt will be bought, hoodies will be bought, polo shirts will be bought, t-shirts will be bought. Well, hopefully they won't. I wouldn't mind some freebies from Adidas, to be fair. If anybody's earned them, it's me. Nobody's repped Adidas through Nike era like I have. So yeah, I hope Adidas have paid fucking attention. I'm sure they haven't, by the way. I don't think I'm that relevant. People have a short memory. Coutinho was amazing for Liverpool. Coutinho was a little fucking snake, mate. That's what he was. A little snake, feigning back injuries, given a guarantee to stay to the end of the season, changing his mind in January. Coutinho, he could have been so special here, and his career absolutely fell apart because of his own shithousery. So, if people have short memories, it's that they don't recognise enough what a little weasel he was. Again, I'm being honest. He was. He gave the guarantees to stay the season, and then left, and was absolutely fucked over at Barcelona, and his career went nowhere after that. So, that's what I remember from Coutinho, rather than the great goal against United in the Europa League or any of the other stuff. I remember that he went, stood on Jurgen Klopp's desk and took a big dirty shite all over it and said, this is what I think of you, Kloppo, and the club, and legged it off to Barcelona, and even took a wage cut and paid some of the fee himself, I believe, to go there. So that's what I think of when I think of Coutinho. Bit harsh. It's a fact. Everything I said there happened. Apart from the shitting on the table bit, obviously. Why is Núñez not improving? Even Klopp as a character couldn't lead, and Arna tried. I don't know on Núñez, mate. I really don't know. I don't know. I honestly, I haven't got a clue. Because he has... It's not like we're saying he doesn't have the tools to be a success, Darwin, right? He does. I don't know if it's something psychological. I haven't got a clue. But I know he's easy to like when he gets it right, isn't he? It's easy to get behind him when you see him coming on and putting himself about and trying and running the hard yards and fighting for every ball. And, it's easy to be dragged back in and to start loving him again. But I can't figure out the goal scoring part. Will said Coutinho head turned by Barca, Trent head turned by Madrid, going to have similar careers. But I hope Trent sees what happened there, though, because Coutinho was promised the sun, the moon and the stars at Barca, and they never even played him in the right position from day one. So again, the grass isn't always greener. And look, I understand what that Barcelona move meant to Felipe Coutinho, but you gave your word. And on top of that, here's something else that I don't know if you know or not about that situation. And this isn't me telling you. Melissa Reddy wrote an article about this, so you can search it up yourself. He not only lied to the club and Jurgen, not only tried to undermine Jurgen and say that he was being mistreated somewhat, he also went to senior pros at Liverpool behind the manager's back and ask them to help him get the move. Ask him to have a word. And as I said, you don't have to take my word for that. Melissa Reddy wrote a piece about it at the time, and I'm sure the piece is still available. That's how sly he was when he wasn't feigning back injuries. Okay. Gravenberch and Thiago together in slot football. Yeah, Thiago was a difficult one, wasn't it? God, I'll always be glad Thiago played for Liverpool, by the way, but I just wish we had gotten, I don't know, 40% more games out of him, because what a joy to watch when he was on the pitch. We got a good 142 million from, oh yeah, and also an agreement that Barcelona couldn't come back near us for, I think it was 3.5 seasons. If they came back near us, I think the agreement was they had to pay £100 million premium or something like that. Again, it's written about somewhere before, but look, I'm not saying we didn't do well out of the Coutinho sale. You know, we wouldn't have got Virgil and Alisson, but I'm just saying for him, it was the wrong decision again. So Russell Martin's just been sacked, the Southampton manager, ahead of the game on Wednesday. So, yeah, he's been sacked. There you go. No, not surprisingly. I mean, how do you be 5-0 down at half-time in a game and run down the tunnel before they've even conceded the fifth? No surprise. Do you know what? I'm going to say this as well. I don't know Russell Martin, but he always came across as a bit of an arsehole in all of the interviews. Again, like the Arsenal fans, he kind of had an arrogance that the results weren't showing. Thoughts on Robbo? I'm kind of somewhere between his days as a guaranteed starter are over, but keep him around and maybe play one game a week, and fight out with another left back. I think it's fair to say he probably can't be playing 2 games a week anymore. And I also don't think longer term Costas is going to be good enough, as much as I do think he has improved. So I still think the left back search needs to be done. And on that, actually, I'm going to speak about it now. Because there was a story today. Let me just read it out for you. So the Mail have said that there are 2 names that Liverpool are looking at left back. One of them is Ray Knight-Nuri of Wolves, and the other one is obviously Milos Kerkez of Bournemouth. Both of those names make sense. Both of those names I've heard mentioned before in conversation. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens there. Gary Lineker had an interesting take on Andy Robertson's red card. And I wanted to get your take on this because I never really thought about it until I read this piece. So he described the sending off as an extraordinary decision and said they didn't seem to complain too much about it after the game, but I found it an extraordinary decision. There's no denial of a goal-scoring opportunity because he has the opportunity, which is a red herring. So therefore, they eventually give it because they think Wilson is going to get to the ball. Now, there's 0 chance that Harry Wilson is going to get on the end of it. So he doesn't think Robbo should have been sent off. And I've got to say, I didn't pick up on it. Yeah, what do we think on that one? Because I didn't see Liverpool complaining too much about it once the offside decision part of it was sorted out, which is an interesting take. So yeah, to hear that from Lineker, who, isn't affiliated to Liverpool, made me think. Maka, how are you, mate? Said, check out Chelsea's last 7 games of the season, Craig. They've been having an easy run so far. I will. I won't do it this second, Maka, mate, but I will. They, look, Chelsea deserve their credit, but can they sustain it? That's another thing. Kenyo said that first challenge was red card worthy. It was certainly more of a red card for me than the one on Gravenberch. The tackle on Robertson's knee, that was more reckless in my opinion. The one on Gravenberch, he knew what he was doing, and it was a shithouse challenge. But I was okay with a yellow for that, because I think it looks worse in slow motion. But the one on Andy Robertson was out of control and reckless, and that was the one I would have probably felt was more of a red card. I've got to be honest and say I don't remember where the ball went after Robertson's challenge on Wilson. I didn't follow the ball, so I'll be totally honest with you and say I don't know. I don't know where that ball was going, so I can't say at this moment in time. We have a tendency not to win our games in hand. If you look at where this game falls, though, for us, mate, on that February 11th slot, it is in a decent period for us to play that game. So, you know, I'm hoping by the time we get around to play that game on February the 11th, we've increased the gap at the top some more. So there'll be maybe a little bit less pressure on it. But where it is, it's probably the perfect place in the schedule to play it. So, can Chelsea last the pace, 54% of you guys said yes, they can. 46%, now 47% actually, it's just gone up, have said no. Pretty close. I don't know if they can or not, by the way, so I can understand both sides of answering that. I think they have a deep enough squad to do it. I feel that much about Chelsea, alright. If the season goes really well, one of the big trophies, do you see Theo Hernandez or Alphonso Davies left back option? I don't like Theo Hernandez, so I hope he never plays for us. And I don't know why. He's not done that on me. I've never been able to take to him, and I find him a bit inconsistent. Alphonso Davies, I don't think we're going to get into a bidding war around his wages or signing on fee. I wouldn't say no. You know, he's more than good enough. But I don't think it's a Liverpool type of signing. I really don't. So I don't think we'll see either of them two at Liverpool. I think the question should be, can Liverpool sustain a title challenge? Well, I think we've seen in our recent enough history that we pretty much can. But it's a fair question. I don't have enough time to put up. Fuck it, I'll stay on a bit longer. I'm feeling good. Let's stay on a bit longer. We alright to stay on a bit longer, everyone? We good? We stay a little bit longer? Cool. So, can Liverpool sustain a title push? Let's get the answer on this one. See what you're feeling on it. Any updates on the contract? Not at the minute, mate, no. I am speaking with David. We're recording a video at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So, you know, I'll ask him then. Tanya said, Craig, you're so committed. Fair play. Love this channel. It doesn't feel like work to me, Tanya. That's why. You know, look, I won't lie. Sometimes you're sitting on the sofa and you know, you may be feeling a little bit under the weather, or, you know, you're in a bad mood and you think, oh, I don't know. But every time I sit down and start, as soon as I start, I love being here. Because I feel like I'm living someone else's life, Tanya. Like I say all the time, I don't feel deserving that the channel's getting to this point, or, you know, that my life's changing a little bit for the better. I don't feel deserving of it, so I want to just try to capitalise as much as I can. Do you know what? One thing I want to say to people that I don't think they give me enough credit for is, most of what we do is live content, right? So probably 90% of the stuff we do is live. Yesterday, as an example, I did just shy of 5 hours with the live content and then the recorded stuff. And people think I'm a hothead, right? We agree on that. People think I'm a hothead. people think that, you know, I just blurt out stuff. 6 and a bit years I've been doing this, and I've not said anything anywhere close to even being cancelable. I'm not as stupid as some people think I am. I am emotional. I am a hothead. But I also know what's right and wrong. So I'm really proud of that. Because to go for 6 years doing mostly live content, and I've never even in the heat of the moment said anything cancelable or disgusting, I'm quite proud of that. Because it's not easy sometimes. You know, sometimes you're watching at home and you're shouting at the telly and you say something you wouldn't say in public probably because you shouldn't say it. But yeah, I always have that much of an awareness about me to go, right, but no more. That's far enough. Did you see the Cucurella red card? I didn't. No, I haven't seen any of the Chelsea game at all. I was preparing for the stream and I had the... Did I even have the other game on in the back? Yeah, I had the Spurs game on in the background for a bit. Hoarder, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Not a hothead, Craig. Just passionate. Thank you, Will. Yeah, it's difficult because there's a lot of pressure to be live, to do live content all the time. A lot of pressure. Because I know one sentence out of place, my career's gone. Connor's livelihood's gone. You know, it's pressure-filled stuff, like, but I also love being on that edge all the time of knowing you're live. Do you think Trent has his head turned towards Madrid? My gut feeling is yes, but again, I don't know anything for certain on it. So, little favour if I could ask 2 things. Excuse me. At the top of the chat, you'll see a link where we're trying to help Joe raise money to get a wheelchair basketball chair. Joe has cerebral palsy and plays wheelchair basketball himself. He's using a borrowed chair from his club at the moment, which is a bit old and a bit cumbersome, and obviously there's newer technology. And Joe also works as a youth worker, providing pastoral care to kids between the ages of 14 and 25, and despite his own challenges in life, continues to help other people. And he's trying to raise this money, and we'd love to help him do it. So if over the next month, because we're doing this all the way through December, we can help Joe get that dream of raising the £5,500 to get that wheelchair basketball chair, it would mean an awful lot to all of us. Now, of course, we're going to donate towards it as well. We're just hanging off to see how far we can get towards it. And if we need to push it past December, we'll do that as well. But these are the type of people that we're proud to stand behind and to try and help out. Because I couldn't think of somebody more deserving and more worthy of a little bit of positivity to come into their life. So if you were thinking of sending a super chat or anything like that, if you could make it a small donation to that, that would be incredibly much appreciated by everybody, and especially Joe as well. On top of that, what was the other thing I was going to say? I can't remember the other thing. So yeah, let's just go with that one then. Any upcoming collabs? Not that I know of. No, not that I know of. Yeah, it's in this time of the year, honestly, it's kind of just head down. I want to get the guys from All Red on. We're just trying to figure out a time. Went over and did a video on their channel a couple of weeks back. We're trying to figure out a time to get them on because, you know, love to repay the favour. When somebody invites me on their channel, I want to repay that. So, yeah, the guys from All Red we'll bring on at some point for a video. Other than that, no, nothing in the works. An Adidas collab? Oh, lads, you'll see me on here crying. If Adidas even acknowledged my existence, you'd see me on here crying because it would be like God has spoken to me. Sorry, I hope I don't offend anyone religious with that one, but you get what I mean. Like, it would be a big deal. I love Adidas incredibly, which is weird, right? But I know. I'd love a Lawrence McKenna and Craig collab. Look, as I've said before, I'm open to working with anyone. You know, I don't know Lawrence. I don't know how to contact Lawrence. But if Lawrence ever dropped me an email or anything, like anybody else, man, I'm happy to talk to Liverpool fans about football. How would you start against Spurs? Right, let's have a go at this then. Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Virgil. I'm not sure if Costas will be back by then. So Costas or Robbo. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai. I know that's harsh on Jones, but somebody has to miss out. Salah on the right, Jota through the centre, and Diaz, because I feel like he's got a bit of vengeance for that stadium, on the left. Adidas have been sponsoring YouTubers recently. Oh, look, again, I'm sure Adidas don't know I exist, but when it's officially announced, and I've never asked anybody for a big favour here, but when Adidas announced with Liverpool, you've got to have my back on this one. I need you on social media tagging Adidas and letting them know if anybody deserves a bit of Adidas love from a Liverpool centre, it's this guy, because I unashamedly rep Adidas all the time. Do you think we can keep the title race going? Yeah, of course. I think we win the title. I do. But I don't think it's a formality, but I just feel like we will win the title. Craig, is there something most people don't get into mind, and it's Mamadashvili, that means there's a big chance Alisson leaves? So Alisson himself has said that he's seeing out his Liverpool contract, and he spoke about going back to Independiente in Brazil when it was up. So in Ali's mind, based off what he said pretty recently, he doesn't seem to have his mindset on leaving in the summer. Now look, I don't know how the Mamadashvili Alisson situation works out. I really don't. But yeah, I mean, it seems like his plan is to stay and see out his contract to 2027. Can you say hello to my little girl? Is it Isla or Isla? I don't want to mispronounce, Paul. So if it's Isla, hello Isla. If it's Isla, hello Isla. And for whichever one is wrong, I apologise. But of course I can, Paul. My pleasure. Yeah, thank you for watching, young lady. I'm sure you're probably sick of the sound of me, like most people, but appreciate you. I miss you doing the papers. I don't think I ever did the papers. I think that was Adam on top of the league. Craig, with the poll active, we can for sure maintain the charge once we get our key players back. We need Chimikas ready and Ibu for obvious reasons, and we've no more red cards. We also need to get a midfielder in January, in my opinion. But look, I think, I'm not saying we win it, but the idea of can we sustain it has to be a yes. Look at our squad. It's good enough to maintain this push. I love that Mo said that, by the way. Mo spoke about us not being underdogs because we have a team filled with international players, experienced players, quality players. And he's right. The mindset should be, let's try to win it all. When will Ibu be back? Sometime towards the latter part of this month. In my own mind, I'm kind of penciling him in for the Leicester game on the 26th. But yeah, it'll be sometime the latter part of this month. Unless there's a setback. Do you think if Trent goes, he'll be dropped once Carvajal's back? Not necessarily, but once he has one bad game, that's it. Slaughtered in the media, fans be on his back, and Carvajal will be back playing right back. If you could buy one player, any player in the world, who would it be? Musiala. Musiala would probably be the answer. what happened to Adam? Nothing. He's his own channel. He runs Forever United TV. Still working away. Messaged him earlier on today, actually, saying cheers for the win there, Adam. Isak's a decent shout as well. I'd be worried about Isak maybe getting an injury, though. You know, his availability hasn't been, to the best of my memory, hasn't been amazing. Former Green Bay Packers head coach, we're nobody's underdog, applies to the Reds. I like that, Aaron. Yes, I like that, mate. And I agree with you. You know, and because we've been here and done it with this group of players. You know, we've been in title races. Some of them we've come up short in. One we've won. So we know what it takes. We know how to, I guess, balance the energy throughout the season as well. Liul said, shout me out please. Liul from Ethiopia. My pleasure, bro. Welcome in. Lovely to have you in. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly, mate. If I haven't, please accept my apologies, but you are very welcome in, sir. Who was the Liverpool player growing up that you wanted to do well but couldn't get it going? Probably Harry Kewell. Look, you say growing up, I was an adult already at that point, but a young adult. Harry Kewell. When we signed him, I was fully sure that we were going to go on and win loads of stuff. Well, I guess we did go win the Champions League, right? But yeah, when he came in from Leeds after the form he was in, I thought that was it. You know, I thought we were going to be brilliant then. I would have loved Damien Duff at Liverpool as well, but when we signed Kewell, I thought this is it now. We're going somewhere. And also another one, I guess, which is a bit harsh because wasn't here long enough, but I loved when we signed Fernando Morientes as well, because I really loved him as a footballer. You actually pronounce it better than others. There you go. Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Thank you very much. I'll take that. Do you think we should be able to roll over Tottenham next week? I wouldn't say the words roll over. No. You know, I think it's going to be a competitive game, one way or the other. But I think we also need to prove something next week, because we have to answer our own little 2 games in a row of drawing. And it's never easy to go there. But I'm hoping if we can go there, we can start slowly. You know, if Spurs get a goal ahead, the stadium gets behind them. You know, I still think they're vulnerable, but if we can play from the off and be really at it, I think, you know, we're a better team than Spurs. But I don't expect it to be easy. And you don't know which Spurs shows up either, do you? You know, does the team that just trounced Southampton 5-0 show up, or does the team that looked like they just met each other show up? So Isla's running up and down to her mum over the show. She's buzzing. Oh, that's so lovely, mate. That's lovely. Kids are awesome, aren't they? No matter how crap a day has been or at, you know, if your kid does something funny or makes you smile, everything just changes. So that's awesome, mate. Thank you. Top 5 Liverpool players of all time? Oh, I don't know, because I can't include players I didn't watch. So I wouldn't include Kenny Dalglish because I didn't watch him. So let's say Gerrard, Mo, Fowler, Suarez, Van Dijk. Yeah, I feel comfortable enough with that. Gerrard, Suarez, Fowler, Van Dijk, Mo. Again, not in any particular order other than Gerrard at the top. And it's difficult to pick 5 because you can pick another 10 easily. Again, I feel guilty not putting Alisson in that, by the way. Because as a goalkeeper myself, I cannot tell you how much I admire what Alisson has done and how good he's been. So I feel bad not putting Alisson in there. Lazar Markovic. Do you know what pissed me off most about that signing, mate? Is that we had to pay Chelsea to be able to sign Markovic because they had first dibs on him. So we had to pay a fee to Chelsea to be able to then go and overpay for Lazar Markovic. Still doesn't sit well. And again, even with my list, I feel bad not putting Hyypiä in that list because I can't tell you how highly I rate Sami Hyypiä as well. So, you know, that list could be way bigger. Lazar Markovic to me always looked like a hybrid of what's his name? Quentin Tarantino and Roger Federer. Lazar Markovic always looked like the love child of Quentin Tarantino and Roger Federer to me. Did I like Torres as a player? Yeah, of course. Of course. El Nino was brilliant when he came in. First game against Chelsea, skinned the defence. I think it was Tal Ben Naimi skinned and buried it. Yeah, of course. Didn't like the way he left and all, but when he was here, loved him. I've seen we're apparently looking at Torino midfielder. Yes, Ethan, we spoke about it a little bit earlier, mate. There was a report, LFC Transfer Room posted it, crediting La Stampa, who I believe are a Turin-based newspaper of reputable standing. And they say Liverpool have joined the race to sign Torino defensive midfielder Samuel Ricci, who's 23. So yeah, he's certainly a name that's been mentioned. Right, let's check in on this poll. So we've had 700 votes. You know, we leave them at 1,000 before we cancel them. So can Liverpool sustain a title push? If you haven't voted in it, please do. What was the other thing I was trying to remember earlier on? Oh yeah. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the stream as well. That was the other things I was forgetting. And one more quick favour. Do you know that 85% of people that watch the videos on the LFC or the Anfield Agenda Clips channel aren't subscribed? And I have a theory. I think it's because people think they're already subscribed because it's Anfield Agenda content. So do me a favour, double check for me if you're watching this back. If you haven't, please do subscribe to the Anfield Agenda Clips channel because we're a long way from doing it, but we'd love to get the channel to 100,000 as well to get a silver play button for our Clips channel, and of course we have one already for the main channel. So yeah, do me that one little small favour. If you haven't subscribed to Anfield Agenda Clips, please do check it out because it's been doing really great over the past few months. Connor's grown it a lot, views are flying up on it. But yeah, for some reason 85% of the people that watch the clips aren't subscribed. Mario said, just checked, your theory was right, I subbed. And I totally get it, because I'd have probably made the same thing myself, mate. There you go. So thank you to everyone that does hit the button, because yeah, it would be awesome to get that to where we get to, because I don't think we're ever going to get a gold play button on the main channel. I can't ever see us getting to 1 million subscribers, to be fair. So if we could get the Clips channel to 100k and get the silver play button, that would be awesome. How many signings do you think we make in January? 1, maybe 2. I'm afraid to say none, because if there's none, I'm going to be angry. Thoughts on Robbo? Spoke about it earlier on. I'm unsure. I'm unsure where I'm at with Robbo, to be honest with you, but I do think we have seen his best. Kevin Asanam Dum said, I'm already subscribed, but I wasn't for a while. Yeah, look, I totally get it, mate. As I said, thank you for being subscribed. Am I scared about Chelsea on Sunday versus Spurs? I mean, I'm not scared about Chelsea from the point of view of it's a title race. They're going to have competitors. I'm just more focused on what we do. So the Spurs game is definitely a worrying one. There's no, like, Spurs are, you don't know what Spurs are going to show up. If they click, they can be really, really good. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to be easy, but I also want a response from our players, because we've now drawn 2 in the Premier League in a row, and I want us to go there and answer and beat Spurs. So right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say good night. But before I do, we'll end this poll. We didn't quite get to 1,000 votes, but... Oh, there's a super chat come in. 1 second. Minty TV said, I don't know how to feel about Chelsea. They've a pretty good team, but they finished 12th and 6th these last 2 seasons. Can they really beat us to the title? I think the only team that can beat us are ourselves. I think it's down to us what happens. Others can stay with us, maybe last the pace, but ultimately I think it comes down to what we do. If we can underline our credentials with a signing in the market, get some injured players back, I don't think anybody will live with us. So I think it's in our own hands is the way I like to think about it. So look, ladies and gentlemen, on the poll, we asked, can Liverpool sustain a title push? We've had just over 800 votes and 86% of you guys said yes, Liverpool can and will maintain a title push. Right, I will see you guys tomorrow. So we're going to put out a news video at about 3:30, 4:45. The David Lynch video will be out about 6 o'clock. And then we'll have the late night agenda coming up tomorrow at 8:45 as well. So appreciate you all being in tonight. If you haven't dropped a like, please do. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And we'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Bye-bye.